Excellent. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Declutter, Paperwork Declutter, or Declutter Your Paperwork, whichever way you might want to read that. Awesome to see you all today. Thanks for coming if you are joining us in person, but hello if you are watching us on YouTube. We love to be able to record these sessions and share them with the people that registered and unable to come at the time, because we have people joining us from all around the world. And if you are joining us from all around the world, let us know, where are you joining us from? Pop it in the chat, or if you are watching on YouTube, pop it in the comments and let us know and share your thoughts. We can interact that way. As I said, we're just going to get stuck straight into paperwork declutter today and share some tips to help you. Also, you can help me by letting me know, what are you looking forward to learning today? What is it about paperwork that is challenging? Let us know. That will help us. Thank you. We've got Home. Hello, Home. Home is joining us from the US in Texas. Awesome. Thank you. Great to see you. Somebody else is just coming in the waiting room as well. Let's get stuck in. Here we are. As I said, let us know what you're looking to learn today. Why do you need to declutter and organize your paperwork? And do you really need to? Maybe it's okay, just the way it is. Maybe somebody said that it was messy. Maybe it's not as messy as you thought, or maybe it's even worse than you thought. But we really want to challenge you today about thinking why you want to get yourself sorted, because when we've got a really clear idea and what we're trying to accomplish, it really helps us move forwards. We've sort of got that path, that journey, that roadmap moving forwards. And we'll also offer some further ways for you to continue your decluttering journey after this session today. I'll share those, including another new decluttering session we've got coming up in a fortnight, which is decluttering your life using AI and using ChatGPT in particular. So we'd love to see you along for that one. My business, Space and Time, is all about making conscious choices with how we use our space and time. And we want to use systems. That's the idea of a set way of doing things to improve our lives. So rather than just get up in the morning and make it all up, we've got some sort of process to help us out. And that's what we're going to be talking about with our paperwork today. Please share in the chat, as I said, where are you joining us from and what is your intention? What are you looking forward to learning today, and what is difficult about looking after your paperwork? Let us know. Here I am. My name is Julie Cliff. I'm a professional organizer and declutter coach. Before I started this business, Space and Time, 10 years ago, I was an executive assistant and administrator for 20 years. So getting and helping others stay and get organized was something I loved to do. And then I found a group of professional organizers here in Melbourne. I found out that they actually go into people's homes and help them get organized in the home. So I could use similar skills to I used in the office, routines and templates and checklists and decluttering, of course, to help us stay on top of all the ups and downs of life. And I'm still meeting with that group of professional organisers. We've got a meeting, not next week, the week after. We meet each month. Married, my husband's at work. One of the sons is at school today and the other starts work a bit later this afternoon, so he is at home. So today, when we're talking about paperwork, we're going to work through the 6 steps of the Space and Time organising system. If you've been to one of our sessions before, you would know these steps backwards and forwards. I know I can see a few familiar faces, not faces, names on the list today. They would be able to present this workshop for us, I think, because they would know these steps, and I hope they find them really helpful. So there's 6 steps of the Space and Time organising system. The first step is stop the stuff. The second step, your commitment to being organised. The third step, sort the stuff. Fourth step, things you no longer need. So that's the decluttering step. So we've got a few things to do before we start to get rid of anything. Then we're going to talk about easy storage and maintenance tools. So that's the 6 steps of the space and time organizing system. Let me just have a quick look at the chat. We have someone that's commented saying, I'm looking forward to learning how to approach organizing papers. I feel overwhelmed looking at stacks of papers. I often struggle to know which papers to keep versus toss. I have a tough time letting go of some things I probably don't need to keep, and I'm not sure which categories to file papers under. Sometimes I'm afraid if I file it away, I'll lose it and forget it exists. That's a great list. Thank you so much for putting that there. I think we're going to cover the majority of that today. And bear in mind, as I said, I'm going to share the decluttering and organizing with AI coming up in 2 weeks' time. So I think some of this that we're talking about today, about the not wanting to lose things, AI can help us with that. They can help us, particularly ChatGPT can help us recreate documents in seconds. It's remarkable. So we will cover a lot of those things. And hello, fam. She's just around the corner from me in Glen Iris. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, let's have a look at paperwork and the 6 steps, starting with step 1, stop the stuff. So what is the big deal of having too much paperwork? Well, we just had some comments just then that says they can be overwhelming to look at. You don't know where to start, what to do, what to categorize, how to sort it. So we will look at some of those things today. And these are some of the reasons we want to stop more stuff from coming in. You know, these piles can physically become a trip hazard. I have actually worked in many homes where we're stepping over things. We try not to do it for too long. We want to move it out the road or organize it so we don't have to step over things. But trip hazards from piles all over the house. Too much stuff to tackle. It's exhausting and overwhelming, as our comments were just before, and it often mounts up because there is no process. And we just had that comment as well. How do I go about it? What is the process? What do I keep? What do I let go? And where do I put it? So we'll have a look at all of that today. So here are some ways to stop more paperwork from coming in the front door. And the first one is to unsubscribe any printed mail outs that you receive. So there might be newspapers or magazines or newsletters. Unsubscribe. Say, you know, dear Auto magazine, or I'm not interested in receiving your correspondence anymore. You don't need to be that polite, and just unsubscribe. So this is all the paperwork. Stop more papers from coming in. There is a whole different workshop for decluttering your email newsletters and email in general. You can see that on our YouTube channel, decluttering our online and digital stuff, digital decluttering. But we're talking about our paperwork today. Of course, another great way to stop more stuff from coming in is to put a no junk mail sign on your letterbox. Some people say to me, but I love the junk mail. But yes, you can have a look at the junk, but make sure you dispose of it quite quickly. I do know of some people that make the plan to have their recycling bin quite close to their mailbox, so they can look at the junk mail, sort through while they're literally standing in their front yard, and then dispose of anything straight into the recycling if they do want to receive junk mail. But I highly recommend a no junk mail sign on your letterbox to stop more stuff from coming in. And I love the idea of using a notebook instead of just squiggling on pieces of paper. So it could be a notebook like mine here that I use for my client notes. I can't see myself, so I don't know where I am. Where am I? Here I am. Oh yeah, so here's my notebook here. I carry this to all my clients. So this is like my Bible. It's either on my desk or in my car. It is never anywhere else. So there's not many places to look. So that's one great use of a notebook. So you could use that for various projects or to-do lists as well. But I also use a notebook just to write notes to members of my family or reminders to myself on our kitchen bench. So rather than just use scraps of pieces of paper, which I've seen in many pieces of people's homes, and them using the backs of envelopes and those sorts of things, that's great recycling and upcycling. But then all the pieces just fly everywhere and they're around the house. At least if it is in a notebook and it says, please hang out the washing, or I'll be home at 2 o'clock this afternoon, or can you please bring the bins in? It's all contained in the notebook. As I said, this is my work notebook, but we have another one on the kitchen bench. We could use fancy apps and other things as well to have no paperwork flying around, but I just find that one notebook is handy. And I do know of a colleague of mine whose client loved to use a notebook, but they would misplace it often. So they literally tied it with a piece of string to the leg of the kitchen table. So you might not need to go to those extremes, but it's a great idea, isn't it, to be able to know where that notebook is. So that's a long-winded story of having less paperwork floating around the house by using notebooks. And of course, we can use the idea of the no junk mail sort of idea on our emails as well, so that we can also get email copies of our utility bills and things instead of having paper copies sent to us. I know some of my clients as well do love to have the paper version so they can write on it, or it's just a reminder to do it. But perhaps you don't need that paper copy at all, and you could request an email. So that's less paper coming in. And with receipts, only keep receipts if you absolutely need to. You might need to keep them for tax purposes, whether it's something to do with your work or an investment property or some other tax reason that you need a receipt. Or it might be a receipt for your, larger items. If you needed to replace it or have it repaired within warranty, keep those sorts of receipts. But a lot of the time, we don't need to hang on to our grocery receipts for very long. You might hang on to it for a couple of days until you've eaten all those items, and then you could let that receipt go. But we don't generally need to keep receipts unless it's for some of those reasons. But if you can think of any other reasons why you might keep receipts, please pop it in the chat and let me know. But these are just all sorts of ways of trying to bring less paper into the home. I have seen people's wallets and bags overflowing with receipts. And hand in hand with that, I would say, stop buying so many things. So we're trying to talk about stopping paperwork, but how about just stop stuff from coming in the home, which is certainly one of our important steps when we're talking about general decluttering. Be really mindful about what you're buying and what you're bringing into the home, because if you have less purchases, that's less receipts for a start and less stuff to manage. So what else did I miss there? How can we stop more paperwork from coming into the home? Let me know what I missed. What do you do at home that works well for you? I'm just looking back through the chat before I flip on to the next step. Karen says, hello. Hi, Karen. Thanks for coming. Holly says, lol, that's hilarious, but also a good idea for me anyhow. That was the notebook. I think I heard Holly laugh about the notebook being tied to the chair or the table. Fam says, I only shop at Coles and Woolworths and the receipts are on the apps. I love that idea, Fam. Awesome to have the receipts right there on the apps. You don't need the paper copy at all. How good. That is much less paperwork coming in the home. I can't stress enough the amount of paper that I have seen in people's home in the last 10 years. We absolutely do need paper at times, but a lot of the time we're just hanging on to it because we don't know that it's okay. We're not giving ourselves permission to let it go. Let me step on to step number 2, your commitment to being organized. So this one is all about really making a commitment to yourself that you want to get your paperwork and your general life decluttered and sorted. So we want to literally plan time in the calendar to get started. Now, I'm on the lookout, actually, we've got a post either today or tomorrow asking what can we call these special sessions? If you've heard of Julia Cameron and her book called The Artist's Way, which helps you rediscover your creativity, she calls this time to put aside and work on your artists or your artistry. She calls them artist dates. What could we call them? Like declutter sessions? That sounds a bit boring. Reset sessions? What could we call this time, this really important time that we are scheduling in the diary? Let me know if you've got any good ideas. And Mary Lou, you might have that post and those few suggestions that I asked. You could pop in the chat and we can see what people think about that. But we really want to give it a catchy idea. So when you see it in your calendar that, yes, I'm going to be working on decluttering my paperwork, it really is inspiring. So it probably isn't, it's a chore. We want to come up with something fun and motivating. So let me know your thoughts. What could we call these sessions that we're scheduling in our diary to get this stuff done? And I reckon 10 minutes a day is a great way to get started on your paperwork. If you've got a lot more, schedule more than 10 minutes or a couple of 10-minute sessions a day. But I have had many people coming along to these workshops that have told me that 10 minutes a day has made a huge change to their life. I had Sue on a session with us a few weeks ago that said she just made a commitment to letting go of one bag of stuff from her home each week. So she really committed herself to it, and she got rid of at least 52, and she said it was probably more because some weeks she'd get really excited and let go of more than one bag of stuff from the house. Again, this is general decluttering, not paperwork, but just by one bag of stuff. So imagine what we can get done in 10 minutes a day or half an hour on the weekend. How can you show your commitment in your diary to getting stuff done? Holly says, oh yes, she was looking back. Sorry, I was just looking at the chats quickly. Let me have another look at that in 1 second. I'll just finish this off about being committed to being organized. So this is literally putting the time in the diary, because we know how much time it takes to get all sorts of things done. I was just talking to a lady a few minutes ago that has 5 children, another one on the way, and we're talking about strategies to help her get organized. So, and she is very organized already by the sound of it. Can't wait to help her just tweak that sort of routine she has. But we can most of the time find 10 minutes to dedicate to this sort of thing. I'm writing a book at the moment, and I'm doing that in half an hour chunks at 7:30 every morning. So it's taking a while. I've been working on it for a while, but when you run a business and a household and, the kids' stuff and my own things and my husband's whatever's, half an hour is oodles of time when it is consistent and over time. So what is your paperwork goal? How many minutes a day do you think you could commit? All right, let me go back to the chat as well before we go on to the next session. Holly says, I generally keep receipts for 60 days as that is a time frame my bank gives me for refund or error, then into the bin. That's a great boundary to set yourself, Holly. Good on you. Thank you. And Holly also says, I like this My Daily Planner page. It's colorful without being overwhelming. And she says she'll probably commit 10 to 15 minutes to paperwork. And Fam says 30 minutes weekly. Good on you, girls. Look at you go. That daily planner, I think I just found that particular one on Canva or something. You'd be able to find one similar yourself. And we've got a weekly planner as well that I'm sure Mary Lou will share with us shortly. There it is. It's just popped up in the chat, so you can have a look at the whole week, which can be a little bit overwhelming. But as Holly's suggesting, if you just wanted a daily planner, that one there that's on the screen, you could find one similar yourself. let's have a look at step number 3, sort the stuff. Now, this sorting step is absolutely awesome for paperwork. It is really where the magic starts to happen. You just grab a handful, not huge amount, just a few pages on the top, and just start sorting. Don't rummage through the pile. Just start with one piece of paper at a time. So it might be mixed. You might go, okay, we might sort by medical documents. So we might have massage receipts over here. We might have doctor's appointments. We might have, oh, there's some of my university notes. There's a piece of the kids' artwork. So just start to sort. Now, these categories aren't hard and fast. They are just categories that you could use and make up yourself, whatever makes sense to you. But go through and the paperwork will start to speak to you as to where it wants to go and who its friends are that it wants to hang out with. As I said, don't rummage through the pile. Don't look at all the other piles you've got as well. Just have a look at that small few pieces of paper you have in your hand and start to deal with that. And by getting, excuse me, getting the paper sorted really starts to help you see what you have before we start to decide what we want to keep and what we want to let go. So grab that handful of paper. I've got some just sitting beside me. It's not a very good example because it's sort of organized as it is, but I do have a medical document I can see beside me. There's a piece of paper that's in relation to one of my staff members. There's a to-do list, and there's also some other sort of goal-setting documents today. Now, that's just a little pile that I've got there, but I could quite easily see how to sort it as I go. As I said, it's all for you to be figuring out what those categories are. If it gets stuck, let me know and you can ask, but it's really this sorting step can go hand in hand with the filing, but it's more to do with just having a bit of an idea of what you've got. Because sometimes we might end up with this really big pile of, say, bank statements, and we go, well, I don't need a printed copy of the bank statement because I can get them online if I need them. So you might shred them and let that paperwork go. But as I said, this is really the sorting step. Try not to get too overwhelmed. Put the timer on for 10 minutes and just start sorting. Don't get too far down the rabbit hole thinking, oh, I should have done this ages ago, or oh, there's a handwritten note from mum. Try and do it. Just let the emotions come and go while we're in this sorting step. What sort of categories do you think that you would use when you're sorting your paperwork? Or do you think you would let the categories or the paperwork speak the categories to you after you are sorting through them? Let me know. What do you think? How's that going to work for you when you get into the sorting step? And have you tried to do this sorting step and got into a bit of a pickle? Were you trying to sit down and do it for too long? Other ways that you could make it more fun is to put some music on. You can find a quiet place. It doesn't have to be at your desk where you normally do your paperwork. You could take it out in the sun. And I've done that before with a client. I remember it was a little while ago now. It's a beautiful sunny day. We grabbed a handful of paperwork each and we went and sat in the backyard and we sorted. And it was absolutely glorious out in the sun and we got the work done. So let me know, where would you like to do the sorting and what sort of environment would you use to help you out? Thank you. We've also got a comment to say, I'd like to commit to 5 to 10 minutes a day. I love it. Or about an hour a week. I imagine when it's consistent, it's probably easier. Absolutely. You get used to doing it. You get better at it. You get more relaxed about it, and you can really see the progress just 5 or 10 minutes a day. You're absolutely right. Thank you for that comment. And Fam says, we'll start to sort by descending date and category. So I think that's a great idea. Date is a great one to be able to help you sort things out, particularly if it's like electricity bills. You might decide, I do want to keep some paper copies, but I would just keep 1 year and sort them into that by the dates and let go of the ones that are older than a year. Excellent. So this was some paperwork that I sorted out for a client. It was medical paperwork, and we started to sort out by the different doctors. Yes, yeah, that's right. I was just remembering I knew some of these doctors that this client had been to see. I was just recognizing some names. Some doctors that they'd been to see a number of times, and then there were some HCF or their health insurance benefit statements. So we just sorted these into categories. At this time, I just did the sorting for them, and they were going to decide what to keep and what to let go afterwards. But this was just one big folder at the start, and now it's sorted into categories. I think it's a helpful way to get you underway to decide what to keep and what to let go. So let's move on to step 4, things you no longer need. I'm just doing a bit of a time check. I think we are doing well. So things you no longer need, that's the decluttering step. That's the step that we are going to decide what to keep and what to let go. So, of course, a great way to help you deciding what to keep and what to let go is to know what the tax rules are, or what the tax rules are. The other word that I'm trying to think of is not coming to me. Look up, keeping tax records. Here in Australia, it's called the Australian Tax Office. So look up on the ATO website, or you can just Google keeping tax records in Texas or keeping tax records in Victoria, Australia. And that will come up with a great list, excuse me, of letting you know how long you need to keep tax records for, what those tax records might be, and that will really help you decide what those important documents are for us to know that, oh, okay, well, it's more than 5 years old. I have submitted it on my tax. We can absolutely let that go. If you're unsure, please ask your accountant or whoever helps you with your tax and your accounting work. Ask for expert advice. This is just general advice today, but ask somebody that's in the know. But I know the Australian ATO website, Australian Tax Office website, is really helpful and has some awesome documents on there, keeping personal tax records or keeping business tax records. So check that out, because that will really, if you're in the know and you can print some things out and have them as your little Bible or your little guidelines, that will be really helpful for you to be able to decide what to keep and what to let go. And of course, you can scan and keep an electronic copy of it if you aren't quite sure and you've got the storage space. Pop it on the scanner or take a photo with your phone and hang on to it electronically. Give it a good name. Again, a lot of this electronic digital files management is on our digital decluttering workshop, which we've done recently. You'll be able to find it on YouTube. Well, the other question is can you find it again on Google? You might not need to keep the document that you found, or you might be able to find it on Google, like I said, or something very similar that'll give you the information that you need. Or, as I have said a number of times, come along to our workshop in 2 weeks where we're going to use ChatGPT to just recreate some of these documents. I can't find my biology notes from 1994. I'm just going to ask ChatGPT, what is a cell membrane and how does it work? And it will give you the information that you need in, 3 seconds. So we can recreate things quite quickly rather than hanging on to them just in case. And that third point there says that notes, like university notes or anything you've squiggled down in your notebook, or even kids' artwork, kids doing drawings or kids doing paintings, it's all part of the journey. It's all how we learn things. Kids learn how to use paints and scissors from doing artwork, but it's not actually the destination. The notes from our university lectures are not really the destination, as it says there. They are part of our journey, a part of our learning. So perhaps we can let go of the notes or take a photo of them and save them electronically. And also you can dictate important notes into an electronic file. So if you have most phones, when you go into an app like texting or making an email, you can, yes, you can see the bottom of my keyboard. There is a little microphone down the bottom, and you can tap it and it'll start to do voice to text. So we can go, this is a note for me to keep. And so it's just got it on there. This is a note for me to keep. So you can, oh, it's still copying what I'm saying because I forgot to turn it off. So you can easily transfer your squiggly notes that you definitely want to keep by doing voice to text. So that's what I do with my client notes as well. I get home and I look them up. I open my customer database. I do that voice to text and dictate my written notes here straight into the database so that we get to keep them. So all these things here are helping us decide what to keep a physical paper copy of, and knowing that we can keep them in different forms like an electronic copy or dictating the notes into an electronic file are great ways for us to be able to save information that perhaps we're not quite sure, or like I said with that last point, dictating important notes into an electronic file so that we can easily do a search and find them. So some of these things might be helpful for you when you are decluttering. Let me go back again. Because a couple of you have already said it's difficult to know what to keep and what to let go. Let's have a look at chat and see what else people are saying here. Fam says digital bank statements and utility invoices also save extra fees and better for the environment. Great thinking there, Fam. I love it. Holly says, in the United States, my accountant told me to keep copies of my returns for 7 years. I think that's similar here in Australia. I think it might be 7 years for business and 5 years for personal. But Holly, that is exactly the point that we're making, isn't it? We need to know what the rules are in the area that we are living. So absolutely imperative for us to know that. And there was a thanks to you there, Holly. Thanks, Holly. I've heard that too. And also, let's keep on looking up here. I love this idea of using voice to text for things you want to keep electronically. I use voice to text often. I'll dictate notes, I'll dictate journaling, which is probably not quite the right idea because sometimes journaling and sitting and writing is part of journaling, but sometimes you just want to spit it out and get it out. I'll do voice to text to ChatGPT to ask me to do something. And I'll dictate emails, as I said, because I can obviously speak a lot faster than I can write. I can type fairly fast, but I can certainly talk even faster, even when the words aren't quite coming out right today, but they are coming out just the same. All right, let me have a look at easy storage for our stuff. So just a quick recap before we do this step. We decided we're going to stop more stuff from coming in. That was the first step. Unsubscribe, use a notebook, stop more stuff. The second step was your commitment. How many minutes a day, how many minutes a week are you going to do this? And literally put these special times, decluttering times, paperwork sessions, whatever you want to call it. Mary Lou, if you can find those suggestions that I came up with yesterday, that'd be great. If you can add them for people to think about, what can we call those sessions as I said, when we see them in the diary that are going to look like fun. I think I sent it to you on chat yesterday or the day before. So that was, yeah, making a commitment. So SYS, which is sort, then we sorted it, and then we let things go. So it's not until we get to the 5th step that we're going to look at storage. So we didn't go, oh, I'm going to go and buy a filing cabinet. I'm going to buy a heap of folders. I'm going to buy manila folders. Some of those things can be helpful while you're getting yourself organized, but it's the best thing to do is to declutter first and know what you've got left to help you with the storage. Again, the paperwork will tell you how it wants to be stored. You know, if you've got about this much, it might be perfect to go in a lever arch folder. If you've got about this much, lots of it, you might need a drop file like this one, or even more, you might need a filing cabinet. So the paperwork will help you decide. But let's look at some other easy storage options. So easy storage is easy to file and easy to retrieve, or it just won't happen. You know, we're all busy, we've all got things to do. So if you have to pick up one folder to get to the next tub and open up that lid and get into that one to put something away, to file something, that's too hard. It needs to be more easy to make our filing actually happen, or we'll just plonk it down on the table and not worry about it. So here are some ideas for our paperwork filing. And again, it's up to you. You can decide, like you did with the categories, how you want to store your stuff. So you can use an alphabetized filing cabinet, you know, a traditional filing cabinet, A to Z. You can do electronic files, or you might just have a box with the year on it. I'll share about that in a second. And it doesn't need to be complicated, just needs to be easy to retrieve and easy to put things back where they are. Easy storage. As we're going along here as well, let us know what storage do you find that works best for you and for the different types of paperwork. So on the left is a pretty decorated box. I have had some clients that have a box like that for their investment property. So they might just have the name of the property with a label or just a Sharpie on the front, and everything goes in that box ready to go to the accountant when it's tax time. So a little box like that might be perfect for something like that. The picture on the right makes me giggle every time I see it. I posted this on Facebook once and I got a private message and the person said, I'm going to unfollow you. How can you suggest that we file our paperwork in a box like that? And I replied and I said, thank you very much. I appreciate your feedback and I hear what you're saying. But sometimes this might be all that you need. And sometimes a box like this with the year on it is better than having paperwork all over the house, like I have seen. Paperwork in the laundry, paperwork in the bathroom, paperwork in the office, in the storeroom. You could have, at least you would think, oh yeah, that's right. We went to that function in 2018. I know it's in this box. Again, it can be a little bit tricky and not the best to be able to retrieve. But if you just have a smallish amount of paperwork, or if you're super, super busy, this might be all you need. But I absolutely giggle every time I hear what that person said, and it's not for everyone, but it might be better than having paperwork in your bathroom. And then we can go into some more tailored ideas of using different indices, whether it's 1 to 31, days of the month, or having tabs that are specially labeled, like electronics, gadgets, large appliances. So this looks like it's probably either manuals, the picture on the right, or receipts you could have in a folder like this. Again, some more sort of personalized, these would be display folders with the plastic pockets, the picture on the left, nice categories there. And you would periodically be able to go through those folders as well and see if those items that you've put in there are still actually relevant, because no point hanging on to the manual or the receipt from a toaster that you bought in 1999 if you no longer have the toaster, and it's probably out of warranty anyway. And then this is a picture we saw before. You might like color coding. You might have different parts of your life that are different colors. So income, or different members of the family, or important documents. So color coding might work for you as well. So how do you store your paperwork? What do you find works best for you? I do have a little two-drawer filing cabinet just behind me here for our important documents, and we put our sort of rates notices in there for paying for paying for the services for our property, and birth certificates and those sorts of things. But we don't have a huge amount of paperwork around the house. But I have been to people's homes as well that many of the people are unwell. They do see many doctors, and with many doctors comes many documents. So I have seen 3 and 4 drawer files just relating to medical for the different people in the home. So it's all dependent on you. Let me know what you're doing with your paperwork. Here we are. Yes, Mary Lou has shared that little post. So we want to put the time in the diary. Remember, we're talking about being committed to being organized. So what do we want to call that time? Do you want to call it organize a clock? Could we call it room reset ritual? Could we call it freshen up fling, or clear space session, or maybe organizing hour, or declutter date? Let me know which one speaks to you. Pop it in the chat. Which one do you like the sound of, and what are you going to write in your diary so that when you're looking at it, you'll go, oh yes, that's right. That looks amazing. Let's get stuck in. I'm going to get into my decluttering. Holly says, I used to be office color boring for files. Now I want bursts of color. It makes me happy and feels good. Also gives me inspiration. I love it. Good on you. So a bit of color can go a long way. And thank you also for the comment. Freshen up fling sounds cute to me. I might need an explanation to my husband first though, so he doesn't get worried. I love it. Freshen up fling. That might look quite funny, mightn't it? If someone's looking at your diary to see that you've got a freshen up fling coming on. Thank you for sharing. That's great. All right, let's go to the last step, which is maintenance tools. We'll come back to the chat in a second. So once we get to the point where we've actually filed our paperwork, we've put it in the filing cabinet, we've put it in our folder, the manila folder, the drop files, the plastic pockets, whatever we've done, going forward, we want to continue having those freshen up flings and file our paperwork straight away. So as soon as you've paid a bill, you've got the utility bill, you've either decide that no, it's going to go straight in the recycling, or drop it straight in the place where it lives. As I said, we've diarized time to look at our to-dos and our in-tray. So continue those sessions. And also know yourself. What's the correct time of day for you that suits your energy to get these jobs done? I was presented a workshop yesterday on downsizing, and I'd handed out the weekly planner, and somebody looked at it and says, who does decluttering at 5 o'clock in the morning? And I put my hand up and said, maybe not quite that early, but I'm absolutely a morning person. Don't ask me to do anything after about 8:30 at night. So we want to find the energy levels and the time of day with our good energy levels to do our decluttering. And also periodically review all of these 6 steps as well. Sort of, a few weeks down the track, go, oh yeah, there's still more stuff coming in. How can we stop more? And go right back through the 6 steps to keep things in order, and also stay committed to being organized. So what new habit have we spoken about today have you found helpful to be able to help you with the maintenance of going forwards. What's been the best tip that we've shared? I know a few of you are going to put that session time in the diary. And what else has been helpful today? Share with us. Holly says she likes organizing hour. I do like organizing hour too. I think it sounds really good. Organizing hour. And from that list that we just posted before, everybody, there was organize a clock, room reset ritual, freshen up fling, which we've had some good laughs about that, clear space session, organizing hour, and declutter date. I love those. I love them all. Holly says the tip for her was taking 10 to 15 minutes daily to deal with paperwork. I think that's a great one too. Keep sharing your top tips with us. We love to hear what was most helpful for you. And did I miss something? What did I not cover? Because we still have a few minutes. I'm just going to wrap up the summary and tell you about our next workshops. But what did I miss? So we looked at creating a system for processing your incoming paperwork by going through the whole 6 steps, SYSTEM. So we reviewed what's coming in, we've unsubscribed, we automated and set up things to arrive electronically where possible, so coming in on an email rather than paper. And we sorted into like items. We set up the storage or the permanent homes and making sure it's easy to retrieve, and we want to keep it up. And here's, I love this little image that Mary Lou has created here, decluttering your life with AI. I wonder what that little dude's name is. We can call him whatever we want, I suppose. Decluttering your life with AI, get organized and get the important things done. So we're going to look at how can we use ChatGPT in particular to be able to help us just let things go. I was talking to a client on Monday and she's got a heap of cookbooks. And I said, oh, can we just bundle them up and let them go? Because she said she doesn't use them. She said, oh, but I might miss out on a special recipe. And I said, well, you could ask ChatGPT to write you a recipe and it would spit something out and you would go, oh, that's not quite right. I think Mum's recipe had a little bit more chili in it and not quite so many beans. So you could talk and have this conversation, either voice to text or typing, and you could ask it to rewrite that recipe for you. So it's something like that when you want to declutter the books and just get them out of the house, ChatGPT can help you with that. Again, we were talking about different paperwork as well that you might have, university notes and things like that. ChatGPT could help you recreate them rather than keeping the old ones that you wrote 30 years ago and maybe out of date. One of the ladies that was at the workshop I did yesterday studied dietetics and healthy lifestyle and those sorts of things and nutrition at university. And of course, that's all changed a lot now. So if she wanted to look up some information, her university notes would be quite useless for her. So come in 2 weeks' time and find out all about decluttering your life with AI. And there's the link there to be able to register. Thank you, Mary Lou, to be able to share that one. So if you would like some extra help with this, book some one-on-one sessions with me on Zoom, and we can do this paperwork together. Let me know, send me an email, let's talk about it. But if you really want a commitment to get it done, let's book the next 6 weeks in so that we can get focused, get and stay focused by having regular catch-up sessions, just you and me on Zoom, and get this stuff done, whether it's your paperwork or something else around the home that you want to do. This Get and Stay Focused program would be awesome for you. Let me know if you're interested. And also, just for coming along today, I would love to offer you a 15-minute strategy call so we can talk specifically just about your decluttering plan. Send me an email, julie@spaceandtime.com.au. Would love for you to come along. And thank you. There is in the chat as well, Mary Lou has just put the link to book a 15-minute clarity call. So let me have a look at the chat. Let's go back. We have looked at, we had a comment. I think stopping what's coming in is a crucial step that I've overlooked. I'm so glad that that has been helpful for you, because it's really hard to tackle the backlog if there's still more coming in. So I'm glad that's been helpful for you. Karen says, I'm going to use text to speech this week for some notes. I don't want to type up. Yeah, Karen, you'll fly through it. It's amazing. You do need to proofread though. I've had some hilarious things that have come up with voice to text. I was typing something one day about a car, about a Suzuki, and it said something about sexuality, which wasn't quite what I was trying to say. And I also wrote some client notes one day that was talking about a birthday party, and somehow it said something about lesbians. So please proofread your voice to text when you do it before you send it to anyone. But it's a very quick way to get it done. Just continuing on with the chat, Mary Lou has shared the get organized and get the important things done with AI. She's put the link there to register. Holly says, I'm getting excited about utilizing AI to get stuff done. Some of the US are gravely concerned AI will replace humans at various jobs and run out of control. It might happen. I hope not. I always say thank you and please to ChatGPT. I'm very kind to it. I hope it wouldn't run over me at some stage, but I hear the concerns and I understand them that are being raised, but I'm hoping that what we're trying to use ChatGPT for won't take over the world. But in that as well, it helps Mary Lou and I do all of our work to make it sound really professional, helps us get it done timely. Mary Lou, as my virtual assistant, she is still there. She still does the work for me, but it just saves us a lot of time. Thanks also through the chat, Mary Lou put the Get and Stay Focused program button if you'd like to have a look at that. And there's also the link for the 15-minute clarity call. And Fam says she has 2 large bookshelves full. Stop buying books. Use the library. Read on Kindles. Yes, I love that idea. Thanks for sharing, Fam. Stop more stuff from coming in. Well done. Karen says, yes, she will. Not quite sure what she will, but good on you. And Holly says, can you spell the name of the side of that document for the daily planner? So it was Canva that I looked it up, but Canva. So I think you can get free Canva. Mary Lou might be able to have a look and see if she can find that actual one that was shared, that was the daily planner, whether we might be able to share it. We will share this recording with an email later today. So if we can find one similar, we will send it. I'll put on you. Here's a similar page. Yes, thank you. Aha. There's a similar page there. Excellent. All right. Any other questions before we wrap up? We've done very well today. Karen says, I will check what the text to speech produces. Yes, make sure you have a good look and a good laugh, Karen, because sometimes it can be funny. Sometimes it's amazing and you do wonder how on earth it can understand, my crazy Aussie isms. But a lot of the time it's pretty good, but just give it a good once over. What did I miss? Something, what was the very first questions that we had? Scrolling back, struggle with papers on what to keep and what to toss. Well, we spoke about that, being clear on that. Have a tough time letting go of some things. Hopefully we helped with that. And I'm not too sure which categories or file papers under. As I said, choose the category that works for you and choose the category that you would go and look for it in. So if you want to call it bloody car insurance, we'll file it under B for bloody car insurance. You know, come up with your own categories. Where are you going to look for it and file that way? You can also have a bit of an indices or an index at the front of your filing cabinet or wherever you're putting your documents, and say that birth certificates are filed under B, or car insurance is actually filed under RACV, who is the actual insurer. So that might be helpful. And sometimes, this is still looking back at the chat as to some of the things that they were looking to learn today. Sometimes I'm afraid if I file it away and I'll lose it and forget it exists. So as I just said, we can have an index as to where that lives, and you can have it electronically as well, which might be helpful, or we can recreate it with ChatGPT. So I hope we have covered a lot of the things that we originally wanted to talk about today. I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. If you've got any other questions, just send me an email, and looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time, decluttering using ChatGPT. So have an awesome day, night, morning, wherever you are around the world, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks so much.
you.
Bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.